Aloha and good evening. Welcome to Empowering Caregivers and our first session, A Point in Time, Your Story with Paper, Pen, and Books. I'm Lani Almanza with Alaka'i Associates and also COO of Gimme a Break. Tonight, we're going to look at why and how to write your story. Let me begin by sharing an excerpt from part of my story. So now here I am writing a book, a story about the journey of a lifetime. Age and experience allowed me the perspective to look back and see how I found my way and myself. It is my hope and desire that you find connections with your own journey and perhaps a few guideposts to help you along the way. In the writing of my book, I discovered there is a unique dance between doing and being. Much like yin and yang, there's a little of each in each other. And for one to be defined, the opposite must exist. We are always partners in the mystery. So you might ask, what? Right? What? Well, the power of words is so critical to our story and being able to tell that. I love this quote by Dorothy Allison, that I am the only one who can tell the story of my life and say what it means, that we really know what that means. So we want to look at some of the ways that we are able to tell our story. First, think about making your message. You might think, my life is too messy. There's too much going on. I don't have time. I don't know where to begin. Let me share this with you. This is where my story really took root. It was a transformation, I call it. In 2003, I wrote the status report. What do you do when they tell you your child has a brain tumor? Now that's a messy message. It happens before you can even prepare yourself. One week, your 19-year-old son starts having headaches, the next dizzy spells, and then begins to lose his appetite and his balance. And all the clinic tells you is that it isn't an ear or a sinus infection, but after 3 weeks of progressive symptoms, they recommend a CT scan. 2 days later, you come out of your communication class, check your phone messages, and your husband is saying, they found something. They're admitting him, and you better get here. So I discovered that writing about the harsh moments in my life could lead to flashes of moments of being where I did find comfort and joy. One of those was what I call the peaceful place. And out of that mess came this message about visualization. It's a great place to start building those daily habits. My understanding of the power of visualization came when Jacob was going through his radiation treatment. Because he had a brain tumor, he had to have a mesh mask that was locked into place over his head each time he had a treatment. It can be very claustrophobic and create a lot of stress. And as part of the patient support at the hospital, they had someone who would work with the patients on creating a visualization of a safe and peaceful place they could go while being locked under that mask. One day I asked him if he would share his visualization with me, and it has become one of my favorite peaceful places. So imagine this. Have you ever seen a full moon coming up over the horizon, casting its light across the water? Now imagine that you are riding on the back of a giant honu, sea turtle, right through that light on the water. Do you feel the movement of the waves? Can you smell the sea? What do you hear? I could stay out there forever. Writing is an essential and necessary way to achieve our spiritual, emotional, and physiological wholeness. It can be a sturdy ladder out of the pit of despair and a way to reach freedom and safety. We are the accumulation of our stories, the stories that we tell ourselves about who we are. So changing our stories can change our personal history and change us. Writing enables us to accomplish that shift in perspective marked by acceptance, authenticity, depth, serenity, and wisdom. That is the hallmark of healing. So tell your story with your whole heart. Be vulnerable. CEOs say that the ability they are interested in when hiring people is their writing ability, no matter if they're salespeople, programmers, or designers. And the reason is simple, because clear writing is a sign of clear thinking. Good writers know how to communicate. They make things easy to understand, and they know when to leave out the unnecessary. This means that you have to attend. Does this mean you have to attend literature and grammar classes? No, I hope not. No, you already have all the necessary knowledge that you need. You learn to write by writing, and you will achieve some important benefits. The first is you will communicate with clarity. Unlike talking, when you write, you often look for more sophisticated words to describe what you have in mind. It helps you build a structure that allows you to express yourself better and communicate more complex ideas in an effective way. Here's a big one. It will eliminate stress. By capturing everything that comes to mind, in order to eliminate the stress that stress causes having many things hitting your head, bombarding your thoughts, writing and developing your ideas produces an amplified effect, since you not only take them out of your mind, but also the whole process of rationalization that otherwise might abstractly stay in there is now eliminated. You'll be more productive. Writing activates the neurons in your brain and gets it ready to overcome the rest of the tasks. You can kind of use it as a warm-up at the beginning of your day. In addition, writing down your tasks with the appropriate words prepares you to carry them out more properly and productively. Finally, it's demonstrated that setting your goals in writing increases significantly the possibilities of achieving them. You will learn more. Writing your own words, the information that you receive helps you assimilate and consolidate knowledge that otherwise you might forget. You will gain an awareness of your reality. If you write down what you have in mind each day, what you expect to achieve, and how you feel according to this, you won't need a psychologist to explain to you who you really are. You will realize it yourself. You will make better decisions. When writing, you clear up your thoughts, and obviously clearer thinking allows you to make better choices. You will be happier. It's an immediate consequence of the two previous points. There's no need to write a blog. A personal journey is perfectly valid. Journal is perfectly valid. That's how I start my day, with my journal. You will live more focused. If you're constantly writing about your thoughts, you will never get out of sight what you want to achieve, your dreams. You will overcome tough moments faster. There's some research that suggests that those that write about what's happening overcome the tough moments quicker than those who don't. And you will have a lot of written memories. If you write each day, you will have a historical record of your thoughts, probably something much more interesting than a simple photo album. And who knows, maybe you'll end up publishing a book. That's how Under a Full Moon and a Guiding Star came to be, with a lot of writing, journals, blogs, memories, and photos. Collect all of that and begin to tell your story. Now I'd like to invite you to do a little exercise with me. Take out a blank piece of paper, and a pen of any sort, a marker, colored marker, ballpoint pen, whatever suits you. And take your blank piece of paper and fold it in half, as if you were starting a book. And now on any one of those sections, I want you to put a dot, and you can make it just a pinpoint dot, or you can make it a big dot that takes up most of the page. But I want that dot to represent a memory or a thought or a circumstance or situation that comes to mind that is part of your story. Where would you like to begin to tell your story? In the midst of our caregiving, oftentimes it's hard to figure out where to begin because it all seems to run together day in and day out. And sometimes it is in the mess that we find our message and begin to tell our story. But once you have that dot and that point in time, I want you to begin to think about other connections to that dot, other memories, and put more dots on your page, connecting to that initial dot. Initially, it's just a point in time, a single memory that begins to connect and tell your story. Writing requires no innate talent, though we become more skilled as we keep writing. Writing develops resilience and helps you become an observer. It helps you to reframe and articulate problems and solutions. The other side of writing is reading. Yes, books, but reading as a caregiver, who has the time? For me, books were actually part of my support system along my journey. So I first want to share with you 5 benefits of reading. Again, reducing stress and helping us relax. When you feel stressed, just grab a book and be engrossed by the storylines and allow your mind and body to relax. Reading has an unexpected bonus of increasing your lifespan. A 2016 study published by the Social Science and Medicine Journal found that reading for at least 30 minutes a day extended the lifespan of participants by an average of 2 years. And with book readers who read more than 3 hours every week at an average over their peers who read magazines and newspapers. The next one is it improves your concentration and memory. I know, being a caregiver in those stressful times, sometimes we lose concentration and we think we are losing our memory. Reading is a great mental exercise because it makes you remember different characters, settings, plots, and connections. It strengthens your memory and concentration because all of your attention is focused on that story. It can expand your vocabulary and strengthen your writing abilities. So if we're working on telling our story and writing our story, it's important to read other stories to help us strengthen our abilities. Reading a well-written book will expose you to more words and help you be a better communicator. Rather than just saying you're sad or not in the mood to people, you can say you're anxious or tired or irritated or frustrated or just weary. Because even all those words can be described as sad, each of them needs a different solution. Reading enhances your knowledge. Even when you read recipes, magazines, newspapers, or books, your head is filled with new information. We never know when it might be useful, but having all this information might just come in handy in the future. And 5, it increases your imagination and your creativity. Reading sparks imagination and creativity, being immersed in a new world and characters. This will nurture your brain to develop ideas, possibilities, understanding, and be more open to hearing the opinions of others. I'm grateful for the books and authors who over the years have given me wisdom, direction, and knowledge, as well as just simple enjoyment. Being able to hold a book provides me with a special sense of connection, much more than any digital device. Some of the books that really started my journey towards self-care was Simple Abundance by Sarah Ban Brennick. It's a year's journey of introspection and creativity in discovering who you really are. And then during a big transition in my life, there were two books that had significant impact on how I viewed death and grief. The first is The Grief Recovery Handbook by John W. James, and the second, The Year of Magical Thinking by Joan Didion. It's healthy and necessary to examine our feelings around these life-changing events. Our journey toward greater awareness should never end, and here are two more that have really struck a chord with me. The first one is Thrive by Arianna Huffington. It reminded me of many concepts I have learned before, but have become more relevant to my current path, like the critical importance of sleep. The second is The 5-Second Rule by Mel Robbins, where a small but powerful exercise can activate your brain to benefit your well-being. Both of these helped me set my path forward. And finally, one that helped spark my passion and purpose is Ikigai by Hector Garcia and Francesc Miralles. And this is where Alaka'i Associates found its place and its mission. So I hope that you have found something useful and helpful in our session tonight or today, whenever you are watching this recording. And if you have any questions, here's some additional resources. And then also you can contact me at alaka'iassociates.com or email Lani_Almanza at alaka'iassociates.com. Again, mahalo for your attention and ahui ho.